Good morning. Hoping everyone is fine and that we're having a good day so far. I know it's early mornings. Or is it midday? I always do that and find it's actually still morning. You find it's midday and you can't retract the greeting, like in this case. But hoping you have a good morning. I know it's nice and not sunny, which is perfect. And probably in relation to the weather. So I'll be talking today about why I'm all for the mining in the Lower Zambezi. I know coming a bit late to the discussion, but still hasn't yet started. But I just feel like we sometimes are a little joining the bandwagon kind of people, and we don't think things through. As I always say, we are very reactive instead of proactive in thinking or in planning. So we just react, So somebody says, all right, so mining is going to go on in the Lower Zambezi and the courts have, and all sorts of things. And there's been such a backlash. People are pro-green. And I know that Greta Thunberg, the Swedish teenager that's been really vocal on climate change, has made it very fashionable. So people are just, on the road, but I want us to look at it from a point of view. Let's bring it down, because I think the problem is we are on the bandwagon because it's now attractive or it's trendy to be pro-green, be a pro-green activist and stuff like that. So it makes it a lot fashionable. And in the last couple of days, I've seen some well-known or in Zambia, celebrities talking about protecting the flora or the land in the Lower Zambezi. So I think of interest I've seen Pilato. I think he actually does a video along the Zambezi. I've equally seen Mr. Simon Mwelwa doing some videos and talking about saving the Lower Zambezi. And I'm a little taken aback because I think that it's a fashion. That's why it's fashionable. That's why somebody can drive from Lusaka, go to Lower Zambezi, do a video, and it's going to make sense because let us protect. And there's a signing going on as well. I remember last year when it started out, and I think I was a little bit green behind the ears, so I signed the petition. And then after going through a lot of the paperwork and reading a lot of things, my personal view is that I didn't want it to happen under the PF. It would just be another problem. Already they were failing to manage the mines. So how were they going to exactly manage a new mine at that? But I'm a little confident with the UPND. So I think it's okay that the mining can go on. And the reason I think the mining can go on is that we need to be very realistic and honest with ourselves. So we Zambians are poor. We need to just start accepting. Maybe we start from there. We are poor. We are beggars. We are reliant on aid. We are reliant on money from outside. So we've been existing on debt, foreign debt, for I don't know how many years. So as long as the PF were, the old administration were in government, we were relying on the debt. We haven't been relying on domestic money that's being created within our country. So it gives me the idea that I don't know if you've ever heard the song by they're called Black Mambas, I think. And they're the ones that sing a song about a poor beggar who had diamonds on the soles of his feet. And it's literally the same thing. So we have a mineral at the bottom of our feet and we're walking over it, okay? At the same time, we are really struggling economically. We are already famous for having failed to make a payment as one of the countries, I think at the time, according to the COVID, whatever hype it was, that Zambia has failed to pay so and so because of the COVID, and they failed to pay this major loan payment that we'd failed. So essentially we are beggars and we're needing a lifeline. Okay, so this is the equivalent of I'm stuck in a well, I fall into a well, and then somebody says, okay, here's a rope, and I'm like, oh, I can't use your rope. Why? Because it's green. Because you use the rope was made out of trees. So I would want to protect the trees, but go and look for another branch. I don't know what type of branch you'd be looking for, but this is the actual stupidity I'm thinking that we're falling under. We are poor. We need money, internal money that needs to be generated. We have so much debt that needs to be paid off. We do not have the luxury of being green. I think let's just be blunt about that. We do not have the luxury of being green. That luxury is for our friends in the West who have such a high green footprint. They have taken up all the land. And they have no flora, they have no forest, they've taken up all the land. When we're talking about being green, what is the total size of Zambia? How much of Zambia have we built in? How much of Zambia have we not built in? How many water bodies do we have? We have tons. Okay. How many national parks do we have? We have tons of national parks. Are these national parks giving us money that we can pull ourselves out of the world that we've fallen in economically? No. How many of us have gone to the Lower Zambezi National Park? How many of us have gone to Mufue National Park? How many of us have gone to Kafue National Park? How many of us have gone to any national park in Zambia? Very few of us have. So it tells me that our tourism industry cannot save us or be used as a lifeline to pull us out of a well. Okay, but we can use the wealth that is under our feet. We are beggars. We go to the UN, we go to whatever country we've been going to, the EU and everything, and we beg, but we have diamonds on the soles of our feet. Does that not sound stupid? Because I'm thinking, if you were in trouble and you want to be saved, you will not choose how to be saved. You will take whatever tool somebody is using to save you. And like I said, we can't be beggars that choose. A beggar cannot choose. You get whatever you're given and you make do with whatever it is. In its state, the Lower Zambezi isn't giving us any money that we can be proud and blab about. They don't know. It gives us this money and that we can compare and say, right, well, farming against maybe whatever happens in there. So it's ranching or farming against mining. What are the returns? Can we measure? We can't. Okay. And this fashionability to be green because it's in fashion kills us. I mean, Mr. Simon Mwelwa goes to the Lower Zambezi. He makes a video and goes, oh, it's really nice here. Obviously, Zambia is a beautiful country. But you cannot then say we shouldn't make money and save, the population as a general by using it as a mine. And this is not a personal jab, because I know he gets a lot of personal jabs about this, but his dad is legendary. His father does something for him that very few Zambian fathers do or did. Okay? He's been left an inheritance. So his father builds. That place where that building was once green. So he's built him that. This is a legacy. There's a whole road. There's a market. Why is it not a little bit conducive for him to be green in that area? Because you're supposed to start being green from your area. Okay? In his area, I'm going to ask him, this is what I would ask him. Are you recycling the mess that is in those bins? Or the rubbish that you produce, like the plastics, are you recycling them? But you have the luxury of a father leaving you an inheritance because he thought ahead. And you're blessed because your father thought ahead. So why should we not do it too? Why should we not make sure that we leave a great inheritance for our children? We can sacrifice one national park. How many national parks do we have in Zambia? We have tons of national parks in Zambia. And that one, we cannot in absoluteness say it gives us 10 million. So if we put a mine there, we're going to reduce the earnings or anything. It doesn't. We have so many people who have their national lodges and, what could I call them, resorts in Zambia? I don't think so. I think they're just lodges along the stretch of the Lower Zambezi. And most of them are foreigners. They are the ones that are earning the money in the Lower Zambezi. It's now a time for us as Zambians to earn from there, but still more, we the Zambians cannot sacrifice. We cannot see this long term because we want to look fashionably green. It doesn't sit well. I don't know if it sits well with you, but it doesn't sit well with me. And I know that there's a lot of saying, no, we need to leave the fora for the children. The children need to come and see what an elephant was. Excuse me. Are the elephants in the Lower Zambezi constituting for all the elephants in Zambia? And I know we're a little fooled by the West because the West speak according to their country. We cannot be speaking according to the West on our country. They don't have elephants. Have you ever asked them where the elephants went to? Because I'm sure they had animals. Where are their animals? I mean, I know that I've seen fox and, squirrels and stuff like that. But where are their animals? Your elephants here in Zambia go to the West and they're put in zoos and animal parks. You have them They move the expanse of Zambia. Zambia is a massive country. And I know there's the whole hype of, oh, the animals are, the term that is always used, that the animals are endangered species. I'm sorry. An animal is only endangered in your country if you do not have it. If I have it in my country, it ain't endangered. It's there. The animals make treks around the whole country, and putting a mine in the Lower Zambezi does not mean that those animals are going to die, because they can easily be transferred. There's all that happens. There's massive migrations. The animals don't stay in the Lower Zambezi the whole year. There's a time that they stay in there. It could well mean that do not do any mining action in the time when those elephants or whatever animals are coming back into that territory or something along those lines. And one of the silly things that we do as Africans is we have relied on the mindset of our friends in the West who are saying they're now specialists in our animals. Whilst they don't have the animals in there. They don't have the animals in the West. They don't have elephants. They don't have lions. But they're specialists in our animals. And we just sit and we swallow it. Oh, yes, you're specialists, so we're going to believe you. If they're so much of specialists, what happened to the animals, man? You have yours. Despite poaching, despite killing them, despite using them for meat, you have your animals. So what do you base your disagreement for mining activity in that place for? Because I'm very interested when I hear, I'm a zoologist, I think they call it. I'm an animal expert, tropical animals. And yeah, there are all these courses. And it's great because, yes, there's some development or advancement that we've been offered by them having done these courses. But by no means are they specialists in these animals. We have lived with elephants our entire lives. They might just study the animals for 4 years. And then from that 4 years, they tell you, do not shoot this animal, or do not move it, or protect this animal because it's endangered. Endangered to who? It's not endangered to you, because you have it in your back garden. It's endangered to them because they don't have them. And we're forever giving concessions to people that don't even own these lands. They don't own the lands. They don't own the animals. I mean, how long have we been living in our countries? How many animals have we killed? And how come we still have our animals? Despite us not having the qualifications, we're not specialists, we're not zoologists, we're not environmental protectors, we're not green activists, but we still have our land, we have our animal wealth, we have our mineral wealth. So why is it that we are so okay with people somewhere else who does a course for 4 years, comes and tells you what to do with your wealth? We have literally, we are beggars going to the West, the East, and wherever it is that we go and get money from, but we will go there with diamonds on the soles of our feet. And it really grates at me because I can see it when I look at our adults and I look at these people who are supposed to be activists. For example, I look at Pilato and he goes and he's singing and he's saying, oh, protect the land. I'm like, well, protect it from what? Protect it from who? It has always been there. You have not failed to maintain your lands for all these centuries. You have it. So where is the failure for you to protect it? And why is it that we regard ourselves so dumb that we think we cannot mine or we cannot coexist with animals or with the nature as people mine in that area? Who is at a loss? You, the Zambian, or the animals? That's a tragedy of this whole mining in the Lower Zambezi. And I keep saying we have this fashion consciousness because we like taking trends from other countries and we bring them into Zambia. And that's the thing. We take the education from the West and we bring it in Zambia. And now it doesn't do much for us because it doesn't apply to our needs. If you are an environmentalist or you are a zoologist in Zambia, you will be looking at solutions on how the mine and the nature or whatever could coexist. But those are not the discussions we're having, actually. We are saying we need to go green. We are talking about, and this is what really grates at me sometimes. I'll give you an example. I think the US is the only country that has not signed a key commitment or agreement to do with the environment anywhere internationally. But they will lobby from their countries and come and bring it onto your nation and tell you need to be green. So they didn't take the sacrifices. I mean, they sacrificed their flora for industrialization. Now they live well off than us. But now they come from where they're coming from and they come and tell you, oh, no, you need to be green. You're not green enough. But you have your forests. You have your animals. They don't have their animals. Where are their animals? That's a question I always ask. And I get a little ticked off sometimes. Don't kill the snake. Don't kill the snake. Excuse me. If a snake is coming and I'm scared of it, and if I kill it, if indeed it was a danger to kill the snakes, why is it that we have not run out of snakes, that we're still killing snakes today? That should tell you that there's a perception that we have been fed because being green is fashionable at the moment. Being green needs to be applied to your country. If you are green, what can we do about our country? Can we coexist in nature with the mind? Because we need the money. We need a lifeline. We have been thrown into a well and we need salvation. And the salvation that has come, somebody has dangled a rope that's made of the Lower Zambezi. So are we saying we don't want to get the help? We don't want to be saved because we want to be green? And we will wait for somebody to go and make synthetic grass out there so that they can come and dangle it for us and save us. So when I hear it and I'm looking at the commentators and people are talking about being green, we need to keep the flora for the children. Excuse me, are the children going to eat the national park? When we've gone through this COVID, none of our governments have been able to give us any social transfer allowances to ease the whole nation. But countries that do not have national parks have managed to do that. They've been able to sustain their populations and given them some money so that they can exist in a time where maybe they're not working. We haven't had that luxury. But our wealth that was taken from Africa is the basis upon which they can feed their people. It's tragic. That's what I think. Because if I want to make sure that I leave something for my children, I want something tangible. I want them to find something like Mr. Simon Mwelwa's father did. He left them a building. He left them a legacy that today there's a road that's named after him. There's a market that's named after him. There are buildings that are named after him. And it used to be a green place. But he used it and he made sure that he secured something for his family. So why is it that we can't do that for populations upon populations by opening a mine in the Lower Zambezi, by creating employment for people there in the Lower Zambezi, and ultimately helping the entire country? Why should it be that we can't help the entire country? We're looking for sources and ways of getting money. So why can you not make the sacrifice? Because this is a sacrifice that we're actually looking at. It's a sacrifice of self somehow. And choosing, we've got to start choosing our own limitations instead of allowing other people to come and create the limitations around our own homes. It's the equivalent of taking, we never allow this, by the way. We can't allow, for example, I come to your house and then I say, you cannot be eating 4 slices of bread. You've got to be eating three is healthy. Would you listen to me? You wouldn't. So why is it that we have allowed the West or anybody coming from the West that comes in and tells us and gives us limitations and says, oh, you can only eat these and you can only eat this slice, you can only eat this, you can only kill this. Why have we done that to ourselves? We are better than that. We have our own brains. Why can't we not use our brains? We have so many professionals at the moment who have gone abroad and they've studied and they can come back and they can run a mine quite well. We have environmentalists who have gone abroad, studied, and they've come back. In case you are looking at it, no, we don't have adequate people who are educated within Zambia, but I know for a fact that people are educated so well and they're able to now say, all right, look, we can coexist, or we need to transfer the animals somehow, or maybe but there are ways and means of managing that these two elements work together. The only thing I know for a fact that in Zambia we're very poor at when it comes to the green footprint is that we take down so many trees because obviously we need fuel, like, from the charcoal. And we've been very careless at it because we're not replanting. And unfortunately, even when the seed falls maybe or when replanting season happens, the tree doesn't get to maturity and you're already cutting it. But the forest exists. So if we were a little bit robust on that, if we really want to be green, we could insist to say, well, let's plant a whole lot more carelessly. There's so many nations I know of who are doing some green campaigns. I think it must be in China where you are allowed to throw any seed out of your window. And as a result, there are trees everywhere in this particular place in China where people have been throwing these seeds out of their windows when they're in the bus or in the train. And another one is Singapore. I hear Singapore is planting over 1 million trees every single day because they want their capital cities or their towns to be green. And these are all things that we can be doing, but we cannot be allowing other people who do not own our land, who do not own our animals, who do not own our wealth, to put limitations on us on how we should make our wealth. It's like I come into your house and say, no, you cannot be going to work. You can't go to that job. You just got to be a teacher. You cannot be a doctor. You've just got to be a teacher. It's the equivalent of that. So I'm hoping that more of us get a little bit more clued up, and let's be a little bit honest. Let's be a bit common senses rather than just trending because we want to jump on the bandwagon of why I want to be green. In what context are you wanting to be green? Zambia is already quite green. We still have a lot of our forest. We have such a low green footprint. We have not built excessively. You know the span or the spaces or the kilometers between town to town. That should tell you something. We have so many people still in the villages that are using the old-fashioned type of farming because that is conserving their lands. So I'm all for the mining in the Lower Zambezi. I'm all for it. Let's do it because we need salvation out of our economic problems. We need to find ways and means of making money for ourselves. We need to make money that helps us pay the debt that we owe to all these other nations. And I am very conscious that if I were to have a child today, my child is going to be in debt because the previous administration borrowed excessively. I don't want my child to grow up in debt. What's better, my child to grow up in debt or my child to grow up not in debt, kind of thing? So maybe if we look at it from that point of view, maybe it'll be a whole lot easier to swallow. And we could then lobby for the right things to say, right, because we could say, let's go and mine because we need the money. And we could control the and put our own limitations on how we mine around that place. If it means we need to be conservative in the way that it's mined, we look at other mines that are green or pro-green around the world. How have they managed? Or we create our own because we're now educated. We need to use our own heads. You can't just be every time someone tells you from the West that I want to be an activist and you're all like, and I was a bit disappointed with Pilato because I thought, man, you haven't thought this through, you know. You should have thought this through. As is, the Lower Zambezi doesn't give us anything. COVID should have taught us that we haven't picked anything in the last couple of days. Economically, the last past months, economically, we are really down. We haven't made any money. So we now need to look for ways and means of creating money for our country, for our generations. We need to secure our children. And when they're coming on the scene, they have these parks because we have multiple parks. So why not keep the parks, some parks, and make money out of some of the other parks? And when we're talking equally about the mining, we're not taking the whole park. That's one of the things. Because I think some of these open pit mines span between the 1 kilometer here to about 30. It depends on how big they are. And some are so big, some are so small. What purposes, what are they using exactly when they're drilling? What's the span or the space they're going to use? What limitations are we going to allow them so they don't destroy so much of the land? These are all things that we need to be discussing and debating upon because we're now educated people. We're not puppets. We shouldn't be reliant on aid, and all the time we're just, someone feeds us these promises of aid, and when we come to Zambia we sing and say, oh no, keep our land and blah, mine. No, come on. We can't be beggars. I refuse. I really feel, I don't know if you feel irritated when you look at the president as regal as HH going to the EU or wherever it is to go and ask for money or from the IMF. It's embarrassing, man. That's a rich man in a suit going to borrow on behalf of 18 million, 20 million people. It's embarrassing. Why don't we want to save ourselves? We've got to start saving ourselves and thinking for ourselves. So that's what I want to talk about. And that I'm all for, I don't know why I keep saying farming, it's not farming. I'm all for mining in the Lower Zambezi because it is a lifeline that we have that doesn't require us to go and borrow. It offers employment. It offers an opportunity for some forex. So I'm all for it. So this has been Mwels. Hoping you have a good day.